In this fitting, we're going to take a look at a men's collared shirt. So there are 4 things we're going to look at: the sleeve length, the sleeve width, the body shape and body width, and then the shirt length and hem. On this shirt, we see that we've got some bagginess under the arms and some definite bagginess here along the body. So let's start with the arms. We're going to start at the cuff. In the alteration, we will release the shirt at that underarm seam from the cuff, and we will begin pinning in from there. This is going to be merged out, so coming from the smallest point, coming in to taper the sleeve. And we're just going to look and see what feels comfortable, what gives him enough room to bend his arm, but takes out some of that excess that gives that wing look. We're going to pin all the way in to the armhole and through if we've got excess fabric on the sleeve and on the body. I'm going to put a pin through the armhole if I intend to sew through it, and then lower the arm there. Is that still comfortable? Good. Doesn't look too tight. And then I'm going to continue on all the way. So this would be the procedure for taking in a shirt quite a bit. That's quite a bit too big because we're going all the way down that arm and side, all the way to the hem. Perfect. And if I intend to take out material all the way through the hem, we want to make sure that we do pin all the way to the hem. All right, good. That looks good. Put the arm down again. Yes, that looks more comfortable. So what I'm looking at is if I kind of fold that extra material back, how much smaller does that look? And that looks quite a bit slimmer to me. So we've just finished pinning through the arm and through the body to take out all of this excess material. But if the shirt is still too baggy, we might want to take out a little bit more from the back. So we are going to take a look at darts, body shaping darts down the back that follow the curve of the body. They're really flattering, good for men and women. And what we're going to do is just come down the thirds of the back, 1, 2, 3, and pinch out a comfortable amount of material, again, so that they can still move, but enough so that we get that body shape in there. We get less of that blousiness. So I'm really just feeling and estimating and then asking the customer, how does that feel? Is that comfortable? What we want to do when we pin these darts is a center pin, the deepest pin in, and then come up and say, this is where I want that dart to start, and this is where I want that dart to end, to give the seamstress a general idea of how long and deep we want that dart to be. Then, if you feel that a little more instruction is needed, we can put a pin in between each of those darts, each of those pins. The last thing I want to do is make sure that I haven't pinned the customer to their undershirt so that they can actually take the garment off. That looks comfortable to me. I like that he still has room to move, but that we have a very clear takeout right here. Great. This is the type of alteration I would use if the garment doesn't need more than 2 inches taken in. So this is a nice, slight alteration that's good for shaping and a little bit of tailoring. Whereas taking in all the way through the arm and the body is better if you need to take out quite a bit, more than 2 inches overall. Next, we're going to take a look at sleeve length and hem length. So on this colored shirt, we can see that this sleeve is quite long. We want the sleeve length to hit about a 1/2 inch under the break of the hand. And I will actually move the wrist like this to show me where. I'm looking for this wrist bone and I'm looking for the break. So I want that to hit just about there. Now, I don't want to flip the cuff up. When we pin a garment that has a cuff, we're going to take it from above. This is not how we're going to sew it, but we are going to remove the cuff and take this length out of the sleeve. So to show the customer where this cuff will actually hit, we're going to pinch and pin. This is a rough idea, but it will give the customer a good enough idea, and then we will lay it out and measure it later to make sure it's even all the way around. Okay, so again, I'm pinching this material out. I'm looking down to see where the cuff is hitting when I pinch it, and then just throwing a pin in there. Okay, and I'll put one more in at the back, and then we'll step back and look at the sleeve down by his side, because we want to make sure that the length is correct as the arm is down by the side. Then we'll bring it up and kind of make like a driving motion and see where it hits then. That looks good to me. Great. So again, we will measure this later, but this is a good enough estimate for us to show the customer this is where it will hit, this is what it will look like. Now we're going to move to the length. Typically, I don't like to go above 2 or 3 inches off. Mainly, that's because I don't want to get too close to the buttons. When we start shortening the shirt and getting too close to the last button, it starts to look wrong. So we want to keep 2 to 3 inches at most when we're taking the shirt up. What I like to do is pin one side and let the customer look at the difference in the mirror, so they can compare the sides and see which one they like better. So I'm going to give him a rough estimate by pinning this up, and I'm trying to follow the curve of the shirt, but as we're pinning that material under, it's okay if that's a little bit tricky. We're just giving them the idea. So we're going to pin up to the side seam here, and then I'm going to have him shift and let me pin back. All right. And again, we're following the shirt tail, so we're actually going to take an even amount off from the front and back. However, the back will be longer still, as is the style of this shirt. Okay, so we've pinned roughly to the center of the back now, so the customer can turn and look at themselves in the mirror and compare the now pinned side to the unpinned side, and they can turn and look and see, oh, okay, that's where it's going to hit now. Good, yeah, I like that. Then we will take this measurement from the front placket where the shirt is straight and measure that all the way around, following the shirt tail later. For now, this is enough to show the customer what it's going to look like.